Okay, with filmmaker Mikey Hudon, After Sunset is the short film played at the Romance Relationship Festival. It's 7 minutes long. It's about a breakup. This was done at the Los Angeles Film School, correct?
Well, I was on the online digital filmmaking program, so it was actually I'm in Oregon, Central Oregon,
Oh,
but
you're in
most was
Oregon.
shot.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, most of it was shot in Portland, and then we did a little bit in Central Oregon as well.
But this is your thesis project as like the capstone project, I guess.
Yeah, yes, sir. It was the project that I had to write and produce in order to graduate. So
So then, did you have to pitch it to the? How does it work when you do these projects? You have to pitch them the story that you're going to write, or you're going to direct.
yeah, I think the good thing is that these are all like experience, like the instructors are all experienced filmmakers, and so when you turn in a script, they'll ask you the questions like, so you're telling me you have the means to put this together, especially because we're by ourselves and we have to either like find a cast and crew or shoot it entirely just on our own. And so they do have like they have to approve it, but it's not like if you tell them that you're just gung ho and this is what I'm doing, they'll let you do it. And if you have to adjust and stuff and create something different, then it's all part of the process. And I think they want you to learn that, and they want you to
Gotcha.
like they'll give you the tips, but they want you to learn it the hard way as well.
So if you made it, this is your, have you made a film before this?
Yeah, I did, but it was just entirely by myself with a couple of actors. I did it in 2023, and I was just the only person behind the camera and with the microphone, and I kind of threw it up on YouTube and just let it fall into the algorithm, never to be seen again.
So what's your origin story? What made you interested in kind of making movies?
I mean, I've always been like interested in movies and always watched movies as a kid. Like, I mean, I would do equal watching movies and playing outside, but I mean, I just had a really big imagination, would always write short stories and stuff. I think I even put in a blog answer just to spoil it there. Some of my earliest memories is sometimes even just staring at a TV where there wouldn't be anything on, and I would just kind of imagine that I'm like watching something in my head. So, I didn't get serious about it and get into the film school until I was about 27.
So what finally made you jump, take the bull by the horns, as they say, and go into film school?
Yeah, I had my daughter pretty early, like in my early 20s. I think I might have been 21, and it starts to. I was even having a conversation with my brother recently that like if it wasn't for kind of like a delusional type of like belief in yourself, like we should have put that to bed, those ideas and those dreams, when we had our kids and stuff, because you're kind of torn between having to like I found myself in a job and just going to work and paying the bills and coming home, and I didn't even I felt like it was starting to affect even like who I was almost, and like I just wasn't liking the person that I was. I didn't feel like I had like I was fulfilling living to like what I wanted to basically, and I felt like it was bleeding into other areas of my life. And so I decided to check my options, and I get really like overwhelmed by what the right equipment is that you're supposed to get. And so I just kind of did my research and saw that the film school, they send you all the equipment. So that takes care of having to, look around and compare and read reviews. And so you're just kind of given the stuff that you need and taught how to use it. And then you also got to use your like outside like resources and stuff and put it all together.
So your daughter's, I guess, around 10 right now.
She'll be 10 in a couple months. Yeah, in March.
She's
And
grade five, I think grade five, grade four, grade five.
she's in fourth at the moment. She was
Yeah,
actually in my first film as well. Yeah.
gotcha. So what does she think
Yeah.
about the whole thing, whole experience?
She loves it. I mean, she was actually supposed to be in this script, and I ended up just writing her out basically because there was only one scene, and it would have meant that I would have had to have her on the set or like figure
Yeah.
something out in that process. I mean, she's great, and she was there so much of when she saw me doing everything for the first film. But she likes doing the clapperboard. So when we shot some of the stuff in Central Oregon at the very last day of shooting, she got to hold the clapperboard and was there on the set, and so she loves it. I think, and it's good. Like I said, I think to show her that I'm chasing something that like I love to do, because at the end of the day that I would want nothing more than for her to do that. So
Gotcha. That's so cool. So I guess one would assume that the you need two really good actors for this film, which you got. So that would be the most. I would assume that that's the most key positions for the film to get, right? So where did you find your two actors?
100%. And I mean, there's so many, good. I met with so many different great actors, and but I did my process a little bit different. And I had an instructor in school that said I wouldn't recommend that. Like I would, do it the technical way. And I said, I want to, send out my script. So I basically made a Facebook post in like Portland is the closest city. So there, I just figured, like I said, I live in Central Oregon, but I figure that's where a lot of the films are made, and then there's
Mhm.
a lot more people than options that I have here. So I posted to some Facebook pages, I think, that I'd found throughout my time at the film school. They kind of made us look around and do our research. And I just made a post and just kind of put a log line and what I was looking for. And then when I set up just a Zoom meeting just to kind of have conversations, and passed out the script to everybody that I met with that was either going to be crew or part of the cast. And then just to be able to talk about the story and about the characters, um, and then just kind of base it off of like my gut, I guess. Because I mean, I could have done some chemistry reads or something,
Yeah.
but I mean, I guess I kind of
You didn't
got.
do he wanted you to do a regular audition like setup?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think he definitely, and I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, I also just, for some reason, when I was writing that script, I learned so much about like my writing process, and like it felt like I was really finally cracking into something. And I realized that it meant a lot of like surrendering to a lot. So once I kind of put the script out there, it seemed like it was just kind of setting the dominoes up and letting it fall down, because people were kind of passing the script even to their friends and then contacting me. So I had a bunch of different people, and I just set up a bunch of different meetings and just had conversations with people, and then just kind of trusted my gut that they would be the right ones. And I think I could not picture picture it any differently at this point. I just knew.
So the male and female leads, when's the first time they met each other? When did they first meet each other?
So we did because this was back in 2024. I believe it was the end of February, because we did a table read, and we met like a few of us, the crew members. We met at a film festival, the McMinnville Film Festival, which was a really fantastic film festival. And that was the first opportunity that it was like midway through. We were about to shoot, so we were still in pre-production. So it was a good opportunity for us to get together and network and see other films, and kind of like put the word out there any moment we could, that like what we were there for, but mainly just there as fans, and just to network and to hang out with each other. And then we did the next day we did a table read. So that was the first time that they met.
And then were you worried, like you talk about chemistry, were you like nervous that they were gonna have the chemistry that you needed in the film?
I
No?
should have been. I probably should have been, but
Yeah.
no, I wasn't. I just yeah, I don't know. I wish I had a better like answer, but
No, that's
like
good.
even
It's like the blind confidence, right? You described that before, right? Where like,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
I think I said like some sort of like delusional
yeah.
belief in
Hey
yourself.
man,
But yeah, a
it's
hundred
always good to
percent.
have that, especially when you're
A
making a
hundred
film.
percent.
Yeah.
Because I actually told Rollin Stafford, who was the actor that I found, that I actually saw his picture. He popped up in Facebook as like a person you may know. And I saw him years ago, and I kind of like clocked him then for some reason. I don't
Yeah.
know what it was, but he just kind of stood out to me. And I thought to myself, feel like I'm I'm gonna meet him at. I don't know what it was. I just kind of like trusted that. So as soon as I saw that his name was in the hat, I was kind of like already gonna say yes to giving him the role before we even sat down. And Mana was a little bit of a different story, but also a very cool one because she had done like three short films, and she had actually put her name in the hat for the first film that I did, and I didn't even remember that until I was casting for After Sunset, and she just didn't have a whole lot of like reels. Like she didn't have a website, and I'd met with so many other actresses that had fantastic reels and websites, and but there was just something about her that like I just in my gut, just kind of knew that she was the knew was the one. So yeah, I think like you said, just kind of a blind confidence and just and I think when you put that like faith into people and you're like, yeah, just number one, you're like, yes, I made this decision, I've got to keep making more decisions and not get hung up on this. But then you just once I said yes to them, like I just knew that whatever it is that they were going to bring, because it was a very personal story for me, but I also understood that I didn't want to be like a micromanager, like weird writer director that's like it has to be exactly like this. So I allowed myself to be surprised in a lot of ways and just knew that everybody was going to bring their own personal stories and their own uh like their passion for the project, and so I think that just made me excited because that was their job, and then I had a job over here to kind of get it off the ground.
Okay, so it is a personal story, like because it is about a breakup, kind of unique kind of storytelling. Because I'm
Yeah,
assuming most of us in life have gone through a breakup by the time we
yeah,
hit
and
an age.
100%. Yeah. And I think that this is kind of the part that I didn't ever really like anticipate when I sat down to write it. I mean, even though I knew I was making a film and I would be getting cast and crew and we'd be shooting and it was everyone at the film school would see it. And I didn't really think about that part. And so when I got up on the stage at a film festival and they were like, what inspired the film? And then I'm like, oh, now I have to kind of talk about what it was. But yeah, I was going through a breakup, and then like a month later, I think I wrote After Sunset.
Gotcha. So then, yeah, it was fresh, I guess, right?
Very, very fresh, yeah, 100%. Which is actually one of the things that I'm kind of like struggling and wrestling with in my own mind is, and I've had a lot of conversations with other filmmakers and stuff that I've met at festivals because I feel like I've always turned to creative outlets when something bad is happening to me or I'm trying to find answers and I can't really like sort it out. It's almost like a
Yeah,
therapeutic thing, and I'm
sure.
wondering if I can not have that be the case, and if I can. I mean, I think the answer is yes, and I'm willing to believe that's true because I'm working on something that's so far out of what I've done prior.
Yeah. Subconsciously, I guess, but maybe consciously it was it's right on the surface. Who knows? Like what
Yeah,
you're
well, and
working on now, right? So maybe it's like I think it's all there, right? What we experience comes out in our creativity.
yes, 100%. And I think that that's what I've typically done before is like tapped somehow into subconscious because I'll typically like it's been a weird process, but like I used to write songs and stuff, and I would sometimes just sit there and listen to the music, and then whatever words popped into my head, I'd put them down, and then I'd start to rephrase and rework
Yeah.
things, but it would somehow be like a cohesive piece, and it was like, oh, you were. I know what like I'm talking about now at a certain point and stuff, but I wouldn't know exactly like when I was sitting down. So it's like creativity has always been like a weird I've had like a weird relationship with it where it feels like a very like spiritual, almost like I haven't been able to be like, as conscious with like what I'm doing. At least it feels like that to me.
So at least, well, good for the breakup though, right? Because you got a film. What's going to last longer, a film or a relationship? The film will, right? So,
Yeah, well, and it's so funny. I actually just had a conversation with a good friend of mine about this very thing because we were talking about that at a certain point, and the reason I love that story so much in the way that I view it now, and I can see even see it more clear. And like what I was trying to get at is that there's a different way that we can look back on things that happen to us. Like the you kind of like the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You know, even though it doesn't work out, you know, I never would have thought I would have gotten anywhere like like the breakup would have led to me making a film that like I graduate with and then I go through festivals and pick
Yeah.
up awards. It's just not something that was in like my bingo cards. But I'd said to him, if I could go back in time now, knowing where we've been after the past 2 years, to like if I could change and keep the relationship, would I do it? But honestly, I don't think so, because like I said, there's just been, I mean, all the people that you meet, and then they go on and meet other people. I mean, there's just too much in 2 years. So I think I've grown to appreciate the good times and the bad times, and like I wouldn't go back to change anything. So
So what about the rest of your crew? So you had Ryan Larson was your DP. Where did like he's from the area as well?
yeah, and he also has a very unique story. Like I said, it's the I had, when I was kind of the first time I met with Mono over Zoom, a couple weeks later, I asked to have a second meeting with her, just because I couldn't figure out in my mind what my gut was telling me, and I was trying to figure that out. And as soon as we got off, it was like a 10-minute second Zoom meeting, and I could have sworn that she would have never talked to me again. Like I think I thought she thought I must have been like a crazy person. And so as soon as I got off the call, I was like, well, dude, I may have just ruined that. And I worked as a delivery driver, and I in a really small town in Central Oregon, so I had been just about everywhere to deliver packages. And I had a package that same day, about 45 minutes later, to a building like right on Main Street on the second floor. Never made a delivery on the second floor before. I was like, what in the hell is on the second floor? And when I got up there on the door, it said Larson Films. And I just kind of pushed it open and was like, there's two guys sitting at like each corner of the room in this really like elongated room that was empty, and it had equipment, just they're all in this one corner. And
Yeah.
I asked them what they did, and then I just started talking about my script and how I just had that meeting with Mana, and that she probably wouldn't, accept the part. And he told me that you have to go with your gut. And he shoots a lot of like, I mean, he's got clients all over, and he travels all over the country, doing different projects. But he'd been wanting to find like move more into like narrative short films,
Mhm.
and he just hadn't found something yet. So I'd sent him the script, and I think about 3 or 4 days later we had met again, and he said, absolutely, I want to be a part of this. So
Cool. And then
yeah.
you just because you got a package sent there and you started
Yeah.
talking.
Yep, yep. And I apologized a bunch, because I feel like, I mean, when I get started talking, I can sometimes not stop, especially when it comes to film stuff. And like the story
Yeah.
was so fresh, so I was just so excited and so passion fueled. But we had a production assistant on the first day of the shoot, and he also did some like behind the scenes like videography. And at the end of the day, he was asking me like, any tips or advice that I could give him. And Ryan was walking by as he's like putting some of his equipment away, and I was like, Ryan, what was that like first thing that really sold you after we had met? And he was like, well, I definitely like just your passion for the project. And I was like, that's the thing that I would say the most. And you have that. Like, I don't have a doubt in my mind that you won't get any place that you need to be, like wherever you desire to go. You have that passion to do it. Like I could see it just on that one day we had it.
So you got the scene in the therapy office where he's kind of like you kind of barely see the therapist, but it's obviously it's about his character, and it's like the blinds are coming in, and it's like kind of like everything like the blinds coming in from the outside, and they're kind of it's kind of like prison bars, right?
Yeah.
Was that done on purpose? I'm assuming that was like a symbolism for something.
I mean, if I was like wanted to take credit for it and be like, yes, 100%. I mean, I think, again, I've I feel like I kind of have like a pro, especially in After Sunset. It's I'm trying to make it everything going forward, but I felt like because originally we were shooting that scene in an entirely different spot in like it was an actual like office building, and we were shooting inside. My mom, she plays the therapist, so shout out to Carrie. I love you, mom. And we were able to shoot in the office, and we did one take in there, but we had this window that was like we didn't have the right curtains for it, so we sent someone to go and grab some curtains to change the lighting, and then
Yeah.
I like kind of walked out into the lobby, and I saw those the blinds and the way that they were, and I said, Ryan, come here, please. Like, please tell me that this doesn't look like it would be even way better than what we've just set up in there. And so I think there's, sometimes the cast and crew would maybe be pulling their hair out, but I was still allowing myself to be creative on the set and encouraging everybody to do the same thing because, again, like you said, it does create that almost prison bar type look. And
Yeah. Like he's
again, I feel like,
isolated.
yeah, and I feel like that was like something that again I would never take credit saying I consciously thought about that, but when you go and you watch it and you're like, oh man, that looks like it could be, again I feel like a lot of this was like the universe almost just kind of making things happen for the most part. Like I just had to, like I said, push down the first domino and then just allow myself to be like on the spot willing to make changes, even if like I said we'd kind of done something already.
Yeah. Well, in a way, it's kind of like it's not. I don't know if you call it a mutual breakup, but it's like it's civil at least, right? That was the interesting thing about your film. Like it was there's kind of a civility to the ending when she's at you guys are outside and she's at her car and you know what I mean? Like life is
Well, and
changing.
that was very deliberate. I think because even my first film, and so there was a comment that one of the students that I had in class, because we had to share our films, and one of the students had said that like the similarities between your two films is that you're dealing with like a couple of difficult subjects, but you end on a certain like hopeful,
Yeah.
compassionate note. Like you're finding a light. Like maybe you're not giving the exact answer or solution, but you're finding some sort of good and a potential way to move forward. And so that was very important to me because I didn't want it to I didn't want to show in the the film. Number one, I didn't want to name exactly why the breakup happened because I wanted
Yeah.
it to be like that. It just feels like it stops, like it was all part of the storytelling. But I've seen so much where relationships end so badly, and I did not want that to be the case. Again, like I said, I think like that the love that I had for that person and that relationship, and for myself too. Like it's another thing that I think that this movie really is about because it's not looking to push blame or be like here's the cause or like you're the reason why this happened. It was really a internal reflection, like a look into myself as to okay, what part did I play in this, and
Yeah.
how did this go wrong? And so that really was important to me. And I'd had some comments and like when I was passing the script around at the beginning of some people saying, I wish we got the perspective from the woman's side, um and I just said, you like, I could very well do that, but at the same time, this was just kind of the way that the story like came
That's the
out of me,
sequel,
I guess.
right?
Like, yeah, it's a sequel. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what did you think of the how was the editing process for you? Were you like putting the film together?
I love editing so much. Like I was the one that edited the film, and I
Yeah.
did not like put that in the credits or anything like that. But one of
I
my
was wondering
instruct
about that because there is no editor credit. So yeah.
I should have, and maybe I should just put it because I put like written, produced, and directed. I just didn't want it to
Yeah.
be like, here's
Yeah.
my name and all the things that I did. I just kind of left that part out. But one of the things that one of my instructors told me was that like the first part of being a director is being a writer, and then the final part of that is being an editor. And I know that that's not necessarily true with everybody, and there's different jobs and people do different things. But I really had like and I really treated the script as the blueprint that I knew it would be. Like, this is enough. I'm done. I've shaped it. I've got it. I worded the way that I wanted to. I just said, this is about as done as it's going to be right now. I'm ready to start passing it around to find what people I bring. And then whatever people I bring, they're going to bring their their talents and their abilities and their life experience to these characters, and I can't sit there and just be like, this story's mine, it has to be like yes, I wrote it and directed it again, but I still wanted everybody to bring themselves. Like, I hired you, here's the gig, and just show up. Like, I have all the faith in the world that you're gonna be great. And that's why for the shooting we shot for 2 days in Portland, just to get that first minute and a half to 2 minutes, because I knew I was just, and that's why I am trying to tie all this together, that like luckily I had the vision all the way through, which is the through line of the writing all the way
Yeah,
through to the editing. So I knew what I was going to be doing in the editing because I wrote the story. So I
yeah.
knew I was looking for like singular moments. So it was like, let's set up, and then here's a scene where you guys are just talking on the couch and talk about something that you're passionate about, because I know I'm going to make that volume really low and I'm going to have the voiceover. So I knew exactly what I was going to be doing.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of crazy, because I think even though that some of the cast and the crew had like read the script and stuff, when they got it, they're like, oh man, there's a lot of film, like a lot of footage that didn't make it in the movie. And I was like, very true. But I do plan to release, like, we had so much fun, and I have so much footage and like bloopers and stuff like that, that when the film is officially done, now that it is done with its festival run, when I actually do release it to share it with everybody, I do plan to release the like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff and some of the other footage that never made it into the film.
Cool. Well, it's a great film, and I wish it looked like it's doing well in the festival circuit. And I'm assuming you're going to make another film, and let's talk again when you make your next film. I'm assuming I'm assuming it's going to happen sooner than later.
Yep, yes, sir. And I'll let you know as soon as I do. I'll be sure to submit again.
You got a
Thank you
script? You
so.
got is it in pre-production? Where are you at? Where are you at right now?
Early stages. I mean, I've been researching for months, but like I said, it is and I put in the blog question that it's not a fun answer. I'm just keeping it's like super under wraps as to like
Yeah.
what the story is. But I can say that where this film is a intimate personal story, I'm making now a limit, like I'm writing a limited series
Okay.
based on it's going to be some historical fiction, but I'm going to try to recreate it as practically and like as best as I can, while also sharing a new
Yeah.
take on it. So it's
Well,
pretty exciting.
I wish you the best of luck with your new career, and let's talk again when the film's made.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity.